If you've been thinking about tracking goals in Todoist, there's something coming for you. They've quietly rolled out the goals feature in beta, and what I wanted to do in today's video is show you around how it works and how many benefits it could have to your life. And most importantly, what is this goal planner they're talking about too? Today's video is sponsored by Setapp. You can check out Setapp in the link in the description, a little bit more about them later in this video. So you guys really enjoyed the Todoist video that I put out about how to connect with Claude. So I think this is a really nice segue into talking about goals in Todoist. So this new feature, as I mentioned, is only available as an experimental feature in beta. You also need two other things or one other thing to be able to access this. You need a pro account or a business account, which is sort of pro plus more. If you're watching this video and you haven't yet got Todoist, I believe there's 3 months free on Tool Finder. Check it out in the link in the description and subscribe to us today. So in order to enable it or find it in your account, you have to go over to settings and then you have to scroll down to sidebar and enable goals. Now, as you can see, if I press update, it will appear in the left-hand side of my Todoist account. Now, on first glance, goals looks quite basic. It's quite simple in its nature. There's a way to add a goal and to be able to see the progress of a goal. So what we're going to do is we're going to add a goal and work through it and show you how it actually operates. So if I go up here, I can press add goal. And in this case, I may want to say something like onboard 20 clients. You can add a goal description. For example, get them sold and into the system for the new product. So finally, there is a deadline for this. Now I can set the deadline for the end of June and I'm going to go ahead, press add goal. So as you can see, the goal joins the other goal that I have down here. On personal accounts, you'll be allowed up to 10. They previously in the beta had up to 3, but they've changed that as of May 15th. And business plans will be allowed up to 50 goals, which is very generous. So you're probably curious about whether you have work goals and personal goals. Well, if you have a business account, you'll be able to break that down based on personal and team. So you know there will be a notifier at the top, which will help you to toggle between them. Okay, so what do goals look like when you click into it? Well, it's really simple. You get a progress bar over here, which will indicate how far you are into the project. But the real magic comes when you start adding items. So I'm going to go over here and add a few different items in here. Now, you may have noticed I've held down Control or Command, and what I've done is multi-select. Now you can now go to this goal button down in the corner and select the goal in which you want them to associate. So if you've already created the tasks, you can sort of backtrack yourself. And as you can see, all of the items have been added to onboard 20 clients, and you can see a quick hover how far the goal is completed and when the deadline will be. So if I click into this, now I can see the goal has updated. There's a new area at the bottom called linked tasks. Now this is where I think a goal view is very helpful inside of Todoist. And if you press the view all, it's a dedicated area to this thing that you're doing. So what's nice about this is if I add an item from another project, so if I go back over to the goal and I've added that item and I go to view all, you can see that it's going to come across multiple projects that you're working in. So this area is almost like a tag to some extent, but associated to the goal in hand. So you're probably wondering, why is that helpful? Well, if you've got a goal that's something like get a promotion and you're managing multiple projects, then all of those things that you want to associate to the goal may be to do with getting the promotion. They may be big hitters to moving that needle. Maybe you have multiple things that work towards healthy eating. For example, the goal I have here is to lose weight, but I have a personal weekend life and I have an activity with the boys that I want to do. And I also have something I can do outside of that in the focus area, then bringing them across multiple projects is helpful. So when you tick off any of the items in there, you will get an update within the goals area. You'll see that it's 17% complete. And the progress will showcase here in this area. So things that you cannot do with this now, there is no mobile support for goals. You cannot see or interact with goals as you are on the go. Todoist do have on their roadmap apparently a auto add task to goals as you create them inside a project or a section, so you can stop manually linking them. But I think the biggest element of this is actually their plan to add an AI assisted goal planner. So I think the biggest thing about this is that they are planning AI assisted goal planning, which is said they're still figuring out what's actually useful and what it will look like prior to launch. So this does explain one thing to me. The icon is slightly different to what we have as deadline. Obviously, they've used Todoist deadlines as a item, but it seems that the target would have been the perfect icon for a goal. So the reason why I like this is because Todoist could be working on something that resembles Project Insights. Now, if you've not seen, there's a Project Insights area in the business plan, and this may give us a clue to what the AI-assisted goal planner could potentially look like. So what I like about the Project Insights is you get a view of where your project is, whether it's at health or at risk, and you also get a progress bar as well as how many tasks you completed, these micro widgets on the side that give you a better indication of how you're tracking. I talked recently about how I use Claude to try and conversate through my tasks, whether my tasks are relevant, and try and track towards goals versus necessarily just going through Todoist and using it as a tick-tick system. So this feature, whilst very early days, has some promise. I like the way that Todoist have put it together. I think there are some things that could be better, like for example, having an association of a numeric number or something towards that. The apps like Griply have, where you can see a number and target it like a certain losing weight and progress towards it. I like having that ability, and that would be nice in a feature like this, instead of everything being equally weighted, dependent on how many tasks are added to the system. Final note on that, I do actually see some incredible promise with this. If Todoist combine the Project Insights and have an AI assistant in here that helps you plan your goals, it is a really nice holistic look at how you actually plan. If right now you're currently looking for apps that are actually more holistic in approach, I would recommend looking at apps like Griply and Timestripe. Those will be linked below. Just because if you're struggling with your goals, these type of apps do a better job of it. But if you're happy to wait along, then Todoist Goals, I'm sure, won't be too long. So thank you very much for stopping by in today's video. I hope it was helpful, and hopefully we can do more videos like this as we go. Thanks so much for stopping by. Leave a comment below what you think, and I'm looking forward to getting back into the rhythm of posting videos. Thank you very much, and I'll see you soon. Quick question, how many individual subscriptions are you paying for right now on your Mac device? Because there is actually a smarter way. Setapp is a marketplace with hundreds of hand-picked Mac apps. You can buy just the ones you need, or you can get a membership with access to all of them. Clean My Mac keeps your system fast, Bartender declutters your menu bar, Al Dente Pro protects your battery, and there's total budget control. You can pick what works for your workflow without overpaying for apps you don't use. Setapp is offering an extended 30-day trial. Links right in the top of the description. Check it out there.